is such an odd and now I hear that doop, and my body goes into this, I don't know. Anyway, so my guest today is Kathy King from Kathy King Strategies, but she's also a dance teacher, coach, consultant extraordinaire, right?
All the hats.
All the hats. So when you hear that music, can you see yourself moving?
Oh, I've got a whole piece choreographed already.
Oh my God, I can't wait to see it. Seriously, I can't wait to see it. It's movement is just so much fun.
Yeah.
Right? And it's so interesting how, like I said, even I hear that twing and my body physically has to do something.
That's right.
Right?
You get the best podcast intro song I've ever heard.
Oh, I'll tell Bernadette. She'll be thrilled.
Wonderful.
Right? So good. Well, so Kathy, you've had a really interesting life in your short years.
We'll call them short years. Yeah.
Yes. So did you start as in dance?
Oh, I started dancing as soon as I could walk.
Okay.
My parents put me in ballet class, and it was ballet, jazz, tap, all the things. And so I've been dancing forever. I hope to dance forever for the rest of my life.
And there's no reason why you can't.
I know.
Right?
It's funny because people say all the time, oh, I'm not a dancer. But everyone is a dancer, even if we're just tapping our toe to the music. But yeah, I've danced very seriously my whole life, and competitively and professionally. And I've been teaching dance for 23 years.
Wow.
Which is crazy, and awesome and so fun. And yeah, so that's one chapter of my life.
So dance is one hat, right?
Yep.
That you wear, but then you moved into a whole nother world.
Yeah.
As well. So
Yeah.
tell us about that.
So when I was in college, I started my first company. So I was 21 years old. I had no idea what I was doing. I love telling young entrepreneurs this because I literally went to the bookstore, and it was probably the bookstore on campus at Wayne State. And I bought the book Small Business for Dummies because you remember those books?
Yeah.
And I still have it.
I have a whole series of them.
Yeah.
Right?
And then I also got Nonprofit for Dummies and Marketing for Dummies. I bought all the books, not thinking that I'm a dummy, but I literally had no clue what I was doing. I was 21 years old. And so I started my first company. It was a professional and pre-professional performance company. I've since closed the doors too, but that really started my pursuit of being a creative entrepreneur.
Okay.
And I think that's why we click so much. So much in common there. Yeah. Fast forward a few years after that, I founded a international summer dance event. It's the Brighton Dance Festival. Ran that for 13 seasons. Wonderful, beautiful, amazing time of my life. Learned the hard way how to get burnout really fast.
So talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah. Ooh.
Because people don't often recognize when they're in burnout.
No.
Right?
Because we think we can do it all. Because we think, oh, well, I just need to do that and that because I'm the best at doing that. So I don't want to delegate that to someone else. I'm a fiercely strong and independent woman. So I get in my way a lot. And I wasn't recognizing that. And I was young. I was in my 20s and early 30s while I was running the festival. But yeah, it was really just, I was almost treating my business too precious. Like I was the only one who could accomplish the task and I was the only one who could make it happen, and instead of saying, I need help. And so, yeah, it just summer after summer, bringing the event together, it just became more of this burden rather than this joyful thing that I intended it to be. But I'm grateful for that, which is interesting because it was such an important part of my life. I just closed the doors on it in 2022. So it's fairly recent.
Okay. So like right at COVID.
After
COVID.
Yeah. So we ran a virtual festival. We shifted gears the next year. And then it was just, I did a 1-day festival the last year. And I said, you know what? It was the perfect day of dancing and performing. We had, it was just this beautiful coming together of a couple hundred dancers here in Brighton. And I said this is it. I'm going to close the doors. Like it served its purpose in my life and in the dance community. But I really learned so many good lessons from that. And that's why I'm grateful for the burnout that I experienced through running Brighton Dance Festival. And part of that has helped me. So in 2020, I founded Kathy King Strategies, which is my coaching company, initially to coach dance professionals through their careers and becoming more business-minded, more financial savvy, more serious about their career, which was amazing through especially the pandemic, being able to help so many dance professionals through that. But started seeing the skills that I learned, the failures and stumbles that I made along the way were really valuable lessons for women in all types of industries. I've connected with so many amazing female business owners through Brighton Lighthouse here in Brighton and just through my community of women. And we need a different level of support, I think, as entrepreneurs. Women need each other in a really unique way to really support and love on each other and build each other up. And so it's been really awesome transitioning and shifting. I will teach dance forever. Like, I hope that's how I go out, like just teaching a good class of some music blasting.
And there's no reason why you can't.
I know.
Right?
So I will teach dance forever. And it always makes me chuckle a little bit when I'll run into someone I haven't seen in a while, like, oh, are you still teaching dance? And I'm like, come on. Of course I'm still teaching dance.
I still want to learn tap.
Yes. Let's get some tap shoes.
Do.
Let's do it.
Really
Let's
do.
do it. And so yeah, I'll teach dance forever. But this new chapter is just really, it kind of, I mean, full transparency, definitely went through a bit of an identity crisis of, I think anyone who's grown up doing something and pursued something very seriously their whole life, you identify as that thing. So like, I identified as Kathy King, the dance teacher. That is who I am. That's what I do. That is all I will ever be. And so being able to own the title of, I am an entrepreneurship coach. Not only do I have firsthand experience of being a very successful business owner, being a very unsuccessful business owner, helping other people build very successful businesses, going through the certification programs, constantly learning, reading all the books, going to all the conventions and the conferences and the things. But knowing that just because you've been something for so long or dedicated so much of your life to something, it doesn't mean you can't be something else.
It's like you can be a dancer and, right? It's not like you are giving up.
No.
You're just building on.
Exactly.
Right?
And you know what's been interesting for me, and I don't know a lot about it, so I'm not going to sit here and act like I know a lot about this, but human design, I don't know if you've gotten into any of that, but it's basically just learning more about who you are as a person based on your divine, like who you're meant to be based on when you were born and kind of how the universe has pieced you together and all the molecules inside you. I'm a manifesting generator.
That is so weird that you mentioned that because I just am finishing a course on Insight Timer about human design.
It's amazing.
Right? And it's like, holy shnikes.
Yeah.
There's a whole nother, it's like different than astrology and different than personality tests.
Yeah,
and so that was one of the things that's on my list to do next week is to take those tests.
Yeah, put your thing in,
to figure out. So talk more.
It's interesting because, so, and you know, you have to take it all with a grain of salt, but I think it's one of those things. I love doing like personality tests and like I'm an Enneagram 8. I'm, just doing, I think it's interesting for us to learn more about who we are to our core. And one little test isn't going to tell you who you are, but learning more about.
But it gives you insight
and information to know how to handle situations when you're feeling a certain way, right? So when I'm feeling conflicted of, should I really do something other than teaching dance? Because I'm really good at this. I've built this whole career, this whole reputation, this whole community. Who am I to go do these other things or all of that? But then learning more about this being a manifesting generator based on my human design, which again, I'm not, I still need to learn so much more about it. So if you're listening, like, don't ask me questions about this. And if you are an expert in human design, like DM me because I would love to learn more about it. But learning that just to my core and just part of who I am because of how the universe put me together is I desire doing multiple things. And I thrive when I allow myself to wear different hats and pursue different passions and interests. And it makes all of what I'm doing even better.
So I love that you say that because I have been criticized my whole life because that's how I am. If I have 20 things going, they all inspire me.
Yeah.
And they all somehow fit together. They inform each other, right? But people go, no, you got to focus on this one thing. You got to do this one thing. And it's like, I'm not wired that way.
No.
And people who aren't wired that way get it. And people that aren't wired that way don't. And it's okay. But it took me years and years and years to not feel like there was something really wrong with me. And it's not like I could do anything about it, but there was that you've got to focus on one thing or you're never going to be successful, right? You can't be. And I was like, It didn't feel authentic for me. So that's another reason why we understand each other, because it's like, I get it.
We speak the same language.
We speak the same language. And I think that that's a really important thing for people to understand. And as you're taking those little, the quizzes or the things to know yourself better, it's not for any kind of a judgment thing, or it's not to, when you name something, you can limit it. It's not to limit ourselves. I don't see that as limiting. I think it more as informing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I hadn't considered that, but yeah, that resonates with how I feel a lot.
Yeah. And I think it lets us to like give ourselves permission to be ourselves.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, I don't know if that's a little cheesy, but giving ourselves permission to be ourselves. And when we understand kind of how we function, we can embrace those parts of ourselves and not go, oh, I'm weird, I'm different,
right, or gosh, okay, no, I shouldn't do that, because one of the things that is so much fun, I think, as we get older, we've talked a lot about this in one of our networking groups at the Brighton Lighthouse, is that sense that it's not one thing. And I see young people are like, oh, I went to school to be a dance teacher and have a dancing business. And if I don't do that for the rest of my life, I failed or something. But the truth is, all of these things build on themselves, right? So I'm reading this wonderful book called A Walk in the Park, and they're walking through the Grand Canyon.
Oh, cool.
Right? But the personality that led them to be a great engineer or a great architect or something is what's going to allow them to be able to take that walk to the park.
Yeah.
Because those are skills, and you just build on them, and it just opens your life up so much. We've talked about in our society, there's such this kind of energy around as we get older, we're going to like go down the slide, but we were designed to have like different chapters of our life, and they're all glorious.
Yeah. It's so interesting to me that there seems to be this like pre-written script of how a life is supposed to look. And, you reach age 65, 67, and you're supposed to go, sit in a recliner and watch movies, and you know what I mean? Like do that, but also,
or spend your whole day golfing,
or you have a career doing something for 20 years and you can't do anything else, or you can't pursue other passions. It's just, I'm hoping that, I think we're in this day and age now where it's so easy to maybe just start up a side hustle. You could just go on your phone and create some digital products. And so I think it's becoming a little more normal, but yeah, I think that as a dancer and being in the performing world, I think of it as like, there's different acts to a show. And you don't have to stay in act one.
And it'd be boring to do that.
Yeah. Right. Take an intermission, take a break, and then move on to act two.
And
there might be some influence from act one and act two, but it's okay. Move on to the next act. There's more to the story.
Right. And that's what makes it so darn much fun to get up in the morning.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what's going to happen today?
Yeah.
Right? Who am I going to meet today? There's so many ways to shift how you think. I could be like by nature more introverted. And I have a publishing company, media company, right? Which is all about being out in the world.
Yeah.
And that idea of knowing who I am and how I deal with different situations, it's like you can learn to, I don't want to say navigate it, adjust it, control it in a way so that like, okay, I'm going to go spend an hour or 2 hours a day with people I really enjoy being around, and I'm going to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because I get to know more about the people that I'm hanging out with and figure out how I can serve. Right? That's a whole different energy than like, oh God, I got to go talk to people.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm going to say something stupid or, it's kind of how you come to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that
more intentional. Yeah.
And that knowing yourself really helps with that. I think. And
Absolutely.
then it's like, and it's kind of like, well, what do I want to create? If I want to create these things, nobody does it by themselves. Right?
Well, and something that you and we always come back to is, well, who made that rule?
I know. We do have to write a book about that.
We really do. And it's, it's so many people, it's, I don't know, women serve so many roles in life. We're caretakers, we're mothers, we're sisters, we're daughters. Like, I think that there's so many societal pressures for women to be a certain way, but we get these opportunities to just become whatever we want to become if we're brave enough to go down that path, right? So taking the time to get to know yourself, embracing who you are, embracing, if you're meant to be doing multiple things, then, run with that, right? Run with that. And then when you get to a point in your life, I'm turning 40 this summer, so it's a milestone birthday. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not one of those people that's like, 40. Like, I'm looking forward to it. I will joke around though. Some of my students, my younger student, like my 10-year-olds, and so I'll ask them like, how old do you think I am? One girl said, are you turning 30 this year? And I said, yes, I am. Yes, I am. But it is a milestone. 40 is a milestone. And I think that it's easy for us to go like, it's too late. I had this dream to travel here, to write that book, to, create that business. Oh, it's too late. Can't do it. But I don't believe in that. I'm so stubborn. No, you can do whatever you want.
So, and here's, to that, this book, A Glorious Freedom, it's in this magazine, I think. It's older women leading extraordinary lives.
Love it.
Right? And there's so many examples of, like, there's a woman who's 89 who did her first painting that's now in the Tate Museum.
Love it.
It's so much is possible, right?
Yeah.
But there's one thing that I think we've agreed on is the community, is finding that community, because there are going to be days where you're just like, and there's going to be times, and when you're going out and taking those risks, starting that new company, it's important to surround yourself with people who have your back.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be those times, and it's just really wonderful to have people like sitting in that boat with you. Not, that just say, you're going to be okay. You'll get through this, and you will.
Yeah. I was going to say, I've seen that when women are in communities with other friends and colleagues and mentors and coaches and all of that, they're so much more likely to succeed, because they're not like how I found myself years ago, kind of sitting on an island thinking that you have to do everything yourself. When you surround yourself with the right people who have your back and say, oh, you're 89 and you want to, publish your first painting? Yeah, let's do this,
Let's do it.
Yeah. And I think that that's brilliant. I think it's brilliant. I think women need that more.
Right. And we weren't designed to fall off the cliff at 50 or whatever, right? We were designed to put our childbearing years aside, go through perimenopause and menopause, and have the energy to then really step into vibrantly those decades that we have, right? To do amazing things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. I tend to attract a lot of clients in my coaching practice, so my entrepreneurship coaching, women who are recently divorced. Now maybe they're single or single moms.
Okay.
Or maybe women who have left corporate recently, who are really trying to reinvent their lives so that they can provide for themselves and their family. And a lot of time, that's women who maybe fall in their 40s. It's really empowering to watch these women say, I've done this for so long. I've been with this person for so long. Now I'm going to be on my own, and I'm doing what I want now. And I'm doing what I'm really good at, and I'm embracing it, and I'm running with it. And I'm going to build something that's going to provide for my children, that's going to change the world, that's going to impact people. It's really cool just to be a coach in that position. Yeah, to be part of that. And it's all them. It really is. But knowing and recognizing that you need help, and you need to lean on somebody, but then also like giving yourself that permission to have that second act, once you kind of reach this next chapter of your life, running with this new thing, whether it's a new business or a new side hustle or just a new way to provide for your family. It's really awesome
to be. So tell us about your coaching. So what does that look like?
What does it look like? It is awesome.
I know. I hear raves, and she is brilliant. I have to say, Kathy is brilliant at marketing.
Thank you.
And Facebook and social media. So
thank you. I appreciate that.
You really are.
So my coaching, I really, I love working with women who are great at what they do. Maybe they've never started a business before. Maybe they're in the idea stage. They're like, hey, I've got this skill. I want to turn this into a business. I have no clue where to start. Then I hand them that Small Business for Dummies. No, just kidding. Or anywhere in between from there to an established business owner. She maybe started her business 5-10 years ago, fairly successful, but maybe the burnout is setting in, or she wants to pivot in a new direction, but feels like she can't because she's boxed herself in. So and anywhere in between that, right? Freshly started up, maybe a couple years in, whatever that looks like, turning side hustles into full-time things. So really just sitting down with my clients and helping them create strategic plans to make it happen, right? I think it's so overwhelming, and I know it is because I've been there. In those early stages, it's so exciting. It's overwhelming in a good way because there's so many possibilities of what you can do. You need someone to sit you down and say, hey, let's focus on this. So I do that. So I do one-on-one coaching. I have a group coaching program at Brighton Lighthouse that I do every spring. That's coming up in April of 2025. And that is a 6-week group coaching program. I call that my Empowered Entrepreneurs Coaching Program. So I empower all the women. This is my 3rd cohort for that. And it is so transformative. I have women they'll be joining again for their 3rd time doing it. So coming every single year doing the group coaching. Because you
always learn things different, right?
And it's essentially the same program every year, updated a little bit with new information, but you're in a different place every year and your business is in a different place. So it's really cool. And then I'm running my first weekend retreat this summer.
Oh, so where?
That'll be in Lexington, Michigan, out on Lake Huron. Rented a beautiful property. And I'll have a weekend together with, I'm calling it my Rise and Thrive Women's Weekend Retreat. A little bit of working on our businesses, a little bit of self-care and relaxing, some walks on the beach, good food, always good food.
Always good food.
Always good food. Lots of avocados.
Yeah, good. That's a good.
So doing that, and I really am looking forward to adding retreats to my lineup of offerings with my coaching as well. And then I love serving my clients just one-on-one, sitting down and helping them work through whatever they need. Every client is different. So no coaching session looks the same.
So, and does your coaching have to be in person or can it be virtual?
I work with clients all over the world.
Okay.
I have clients everywhere. So I can do virtual coaching, phone calls. I like to meet my clients where they're at. So even some of my local clients that are mamas and they can't get out of the house, they'll hop on Zoom and make it easy. Yeah.
Oh, it's so great to have all that access now, right? Mm-hmm. It is it's amazing. So, well, cool. Well, I always find every time I see you, I feel inspired.
Oh, thank you.
And energized. And full disclosure, I was having a social media crisis, and we're all sitting here on the computers, and I'm like, well, Kathy will be here; she'll know how to do this. And so it just is so comforting to have a community where there's people who have your backs.
Totally.
Right.
I always tell my clients, consider me a part of your team.
Yeah.
Like when you're first starting a business, you have no idea where to start on hiring people. Like I know I need people to make money, but I need money to have people. And so then when my clients hire me as their coach, I go, I'm on your team. I'm part of your business. And so I really like to consider myself as I'm part of the Good Fat Life team.
Yes, you are.
I'm in your corner and it's really cool.
And it gives me confidence as a business owner that when I have a crisis, which I was, that I have somebody to call.
Yeah.
Right. And there's just something so cool about that.
That's a good flex. Let me call my coach.
Yeah. Let me call my coach or let me call my social media guru.
There you go.
So it's all good. Yeah. So on that happy note, I want to say as part of a team that we're coming into tax season. Right?
Yes, we are.
And doing taxes can be a real nightmare for people and a really scary thing. But AJ Gross, he's a CPA at ALG Tax Solutions there in Lansing and Ann Arbor. They and Howell, just this area, they have a way of being on your team.
Love it.
They are on your team in ways that I've never seen that kind of camaraderie before, right? So doing your taxes, while some people will never say it's fun, it's great to know that there is somebody who's right there and is going to be. I've heard so many people say, before I met AJ, I had no idea that this was even a deduction I could take or a strategy for me to get to where I want to be financially in the next 5 years or whatever. So that's just part of the team.
Nice.
Right?
And that's always one of my first recommendations for most small business owners. Go get yourself a financial advisor, a CPA, an attorney, a bookkeeper, all that. Like, get your team put together and make sure you got the right people in your corner.
Because it makes a huge difference. Huge difference. So on that happy note, I want to thank you so much for being here.
Always a pleasure.
Being here on the podcast, being here with Good Fat Life, and just being in my life. Please check out goodfatlife.com. We've got lots of cool things happening. And one of the really cool things that I'm loving is that there's so many people in our community that are doing such cool things. Oh, yeah. And we get to have the privilege of talking about it, sharing it, putting on our website, of really cool things to go do. And one of my dreams is that it's not just local. Yeah. We can have things that are happening around the country calendar as well. So on that happy note, go out and live your good life.